Please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Good morning. Happy January 27th. You made it. First, I wanted to give you an update on Sensei Rosalie. She's been having infusions for immunocare for the last week, going in every day for infusions. So she's gone today. She's going to be gone the next 2 Sundays. But thankfully, her prognosis is better than expected. So she is planning to be coming back for convention. So we are grateful to all of you for all of your thoughts and for for grocery delivery and all of the other wonderful things that have happened this week. And so I feel happy to be a part of this community, and I'm grateful for all that we've received from it. So thank you. Which brings me to my talk. And this is going to be weird after I said that, but I'm kind of thinking about moving to Hawaii. It usually happens about this time of year. The weather is not quite cooperating with me for this kind of thing, because it's going to be kind of sunny. But you get to about late January in Seattle. You've just made it past the new year. The days are starting to get a little longer, but you kind of wish they were a little longer than they were. Starting to get a little warmer, but not as warm as you wish it were. And so I think in my life, I'm pretty happy, but if I just had this one more thing, if I could live in Hawaii, where it's nice and warm most of the year, where it's nice and sunny most of the year, I think that's the one piece. It's the one thing that I need in order to be happy, right? How many people have that one thing? I'm usually just happy. It's just that one thing. Like one thing. I'm only unhappy because I'm missing that one thing. I think it's part of our nature to say, like, I'm unhappy. There's something that's bugging me. There's something that's annoying me, and that if I just have that one thing, that will make everything complete. So. My talk is about this one more thing. How many people have either read the books or seen the Netflix series by Marie Kondo, the Tidying Up with Marie Kondo? Yeah, lots of hands. I'm sure there are more people that are like just don't want to raise their hands. I like to find Dharma messages where I can, and if I were to ask you to raise your hand and say, like, how many people have read a sutra in the last month? How many people have seen Marie Kondo? She's right now probably one of the most famous Japanese people in the world, right? The life-changing art of tidying up is a worldwide bestseller. This series comes out, and the majority of these episodes, I did a kind of Netflix binge preparing for my talk, so I know, right? That was homework for me. I had to watch Marie Kondo. But she walks a number of people, a number of families through the process of understanding how they've acquired this stuff, and then finding a way for them to sort of gratefully discard it. And one of the things that I think didn't get explored that deeply is how did we get here? I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands, but I think you can probably sort of nod to yourselves. Like, how many of you have that problem? That you have a little too much stuff in the house. But how did we get here? Right? There are causes and conditions. Buddhism teaches us that there are these situations and conditions and causes that bring these things into our lives. Sometimes they're gifts, and we receive these things, and Buddhism also teaches us that gifts have no giver, right? Dana is a truly selfless act. But obviously, if you receive something from somebody that you don't like or don't want, it's almost more of a burden than it is a gift, right? But we keep these things, oh, thank you for this. I'll just put this with the rest of my stuff. But we also have this one more thing, right? I have thousands of one more things in my house right now. I've been spending the last several months getting rid of these one more things because I work in technology. The one thing that technology does is gives you new stuff. Techno actually is like the word for new, so it's literally about what is new. There's always something that's going to tempt me to come and get this one more thing, and this marketing that says you'll be happy if you have this one more thing. And I can tell you, after 20 odd years living as an adult and acquiring these things, that there hasn't been one of these things that has been that great in my life, except DVRs. I bought a TiVo, like the first one when it came out. It was like 2000, and it's like, okay, it's a VCR, but it has a hard drive in it, and you can save shows, and then you don't have to be there at 8 o'clock on Thursday. It's amazing. Like this is what we have now. Like we've received a gift that now we are not tied to our chairs and to watch TV. That's great. Okay. So there's one thing. But everything else has always come with a price, because now I get this thing, and this thing that's slightly older, that's slightly less good, is still sitting there. I still have to deal with this, and now there's this burden on me. So now my one more thing is, how do I get rid of this stuff? How do I have enough stuff? How do I be happier with the stuff that I have, with the things that I keep? And that is the one thread that goes through every one of these Marie Kondo episodes, right? That it isn't necessarily that you need to take everything and just throw it out. But it is a matter of, what do we have now that, the term that she uses is spark joy, tokimeku. So it says that all the time, tokimeku. So this idea of, when I pick this up, does it spark joy? And my understanding of this term is that it's like, ooh, like a flutter, like a butterflies in your stomach, like, this is amazing. So I get to keep the DVR. But that idea, if it doesn't, then it has to go on. And she uses a kind of Shinto terminology about this animism, that these things want to help people. And I think that there's a Buddhist spin on that, which is that they still are of use. We can't just take... I agree. We have to learn about, as with like Ikosanga, the concept of, where did this come from? How much energy, how much transit, what happened to make this thing, bring this thing into reality? How did it get to me? What good is it? Where is this going? And so the understanding of this is still on us to try to rid ourselves of that suffering, that dukkha, the idea, what am I going to do with all of this? How am I going to use my living room because it's full of magazines and newspapers and things? But the other lesson that I got from this is how it parallels the life of Shakyamuni Buddha. He was born to everything. Crown prince. He lived in a castle. He had servants. He had everything that someone in his era could want, and was not happy with what he had. And he finds an ascetic who has nothing, and he abandons having everything and goes and has nothing. And both times he goes, well, that didn't work. I'm still suffering. I'm still frustrated. And I feel that there needs to be another way. And that through sitting and through meditation, he comes to the concept of the Dharma. He comes to the lessons that there is that middle path. We talk about the river of fire and the river of water, that we walk this fine line. But we have to understand the influences on either side, that there's an allure to giving away all of your things and going away. There's an allure to getting as much as you can from this process. And those are desires. That those are, what we consider to be, an excessive want or need for something that causes us to suffer. Like, I can't crave a bowl of rice or a lung full of air, right? We need that. Like, we need to be able to eat, survive, but do we need to have the newest laptop? Do we need to have the newest, dining room table? Those are the things that we can think more deeply about. And I think that's the practical aspect of Buddhism, that we are always able to get life lessons from the things that are right staring in front of us, that we can start to think about why it is that we feel the burdens that we feel, and why with our own actions we can start to relieve our own burdens, or possibly the burdens of others. So the lessons that I've learned, and sort of my, I guess, mantra. By the way, there's this article came out this morning. I was just looking on the NBC website. Post Marie Kondo purge. Here's what to do with that unwanted stuff. So it's really good timing. But the question is, what can we do with these things without throwing them away? Without just putting them into the dumpster. And are there people around us? There's the Buy Nothing Seattle, the Buy Nothing groups where we can post things and people can acquire them. I like to find things where I think somebody that I know can appreciate them. That its life, as Marie Kondo would consider it, can go on in a different way. But it helps us to think about how our actions bring more of this stuff into the world. The more that we buy the new things, the more things there are in the world that we have to then worry about. Are they going to be recycled? Are they going to be disposed of? Is it going to be in a healthy, eco-friendly kind of way or not? But the last lesson that I get from this is Reverend Castro talked a lot about the medical model of Buddhism, about that it's like a doctor diagnosing a problem. And I think all of us can have had this. So go to the doctor fills up a needle, and what does the doctor say just before before they inject the needle in you? Yeah, you're going to feel a little pinch. This is going to hurt a little bit. Buddhism tells you in the First Noble Truth, suffering is unavoidable in your life. You're going to have that. You're going to feel these experiences that you don't expect. You're going to feel a little pinch, and I think that's one of the greatest lessons that we have. That we are able to understand that this is going to happen. That this is a normal condition, and that we can't. That we don't just need to, huddle up, or that this is something that is only happening to me. This is something that's unavoidable. But it is something that we can think deeply on and that we can reflect upon. And the teachings of Amida Buddha also tell us that there is compassion around us at these times. If compassion exists, it exists for us. So it's okay if your house is dirty. It's okay if your house is cluttered. It's okay if you can't throw things away. It's okay if it's dark 4 months out of the year. We're going to be okay. We have the compassion that surrounds us at all times. And that it's okay to be human. And it's okay to make these mistakes. And that's what I'm most grateful for in Buddhism. So I have one quote that I wanted to bring up. This is the book that was published by, I think it was Los Angeles, the temple in Los Angeles, for the 800th anniversary of the birth of Shinran Shonin. They also didn't date the book, so you ended up having to, there was like an exercise to the reader to find out when that date was. But he was born in 1173. And so this is from 1973. And there's this quote that I wanted to read you from this, just to show that this keeps happening. we don't solve these problems in 10 or 50 or 50 years, but this is from 46 years ago. How many days have there been when you could say, "Today I lived fully and have no regrets about it"? Count yourself lucky if you have even one. Isn't your usual feeling, "One of these days, when I get this cleared away, then I will be able to live a fuller life"? This means that you are not living life to the fullest now. The work before you will be with you all your life. Waiting until it is done before living life to its fullest will not work, for that day will never come. So, we have the roadmap. We know that it's going to hurt. We know that this is something that can confront us. But we're fortunate to have the teachings that we have to help us deal with it. So, thank you. Please enjoy your Sunday and the rest of your week, and please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo